We continue now at the top of Daf Vav Amud Aleph Meseches Eruvin. This is Eruvin Daf 6a. The Gemara here continues with a statement in the name of Rav. Mitzido be'eser. If you have a breach in a mavoi along the side wall, as you're entering along the walls at your side, the breach can be up till 10 amos, and it's still okay. It's considered basically a doorway. But if it's more than 10 amos, it's going to be a problem. Meirosho, but if you have a wall at the entry of the mavoi going in, there's a wall in front of you, so then bedalid. The breach can only be up till 4 tvachim wide. If it's more than 4 tvachim, it's going to be a problem. Rashi here explains, Mitzido bekosel arko, along the length of the wall, velo eitzel rosha. We're not talking about right at the entrance. In other words, we're not talking about that there's a breach right when you enter the mavoi at the on the side wall. Ela sheyesh arba omed min hapesach ad hapirtza. You have, when you enter the mavoi, you have 4 tfachim of wall right along the side, and then the breach begins sometime after 4 tvachim. That breach can be up till 10 amos and not be a problem. But meirosha, but if the breach is at a wall that's facing you when you enter, shayamavoi rachav chafama, meaning the entry of the mavoi is 20 amos wide, visasmo eser amos, and you close up, you build a wall 10 amos, kidetanan v'harachav me'aser yamai. Like we said, if the entrance to the mavoi is more than 10 amos, you have to make it less. It can't be more than 10 amos. V'nifritza pirtza ba'os estima. Then the case is there's a breach in that wall. So in other words, you had, let's say, the entrance of the mavoi was 20 amos wide. You put up a 10 amma wall. If in that 10 amma wall there's a breach of more than 4 tvachim, then you're going to have a problem. So the Gemara says, what's the difference? What is the difference that in a side wall we say that if it's 10 amos, it's a doorway, it's considered not a breach, but a door into the mavoi. Why do we say the same thing in the front? You have a door to enter the mavoi. So Amar Rav Huna Breder Rav Yoshua, Rav Huna, the son of Rav Yoshua, says, Kagon shenifritz bekeren zavis. The case over here where you have a breach in the front wall is very particular case. It's where you have the breach at the corner. The pischa bekeren zavis lo avdi inchi. People do not make doorways at the corner, so there you can't say it can be up till 10 amos. You only get until 4 tvachim. Rav Huna Amar, but Rav Huna says, Echod zeh v'echod zeh be'arba. It doesn't matter what the situation is. Anytime you have more than 4 tvachim breach, whether it's the front wall, whether it's the side wall, it's 4 tvachim is the maximum breach you can have. V'chein Amar le Rav Huna le Rav Chanan bar Rava. Similarly, that's what Rav Huna said to Rav Chanan bar Rava. Lo siflag iloi. Don't argue upon me on this issue. To Rav ikla de Mecharia v'avda uvda kavasi. Because Rav went to Demcharia and he did a case just like me. In other words, he was strict and he said anything more than 4 tvachim, whether it's at the side wall, whether it's at the front wall, is going to be a problem. Amar le, he said back to Rav Huna, Bikam Rav Bikam Matzav v'godar bogeder. You're wrong. Rav over there was being so strict because he found that the people were lenient. He found a hole over there, so to speak. He found that the people in that area were being lenient, and therefore he felt he needed to put up a fence, so he was stricter than he really had to be. But that is not the actual halacha. The actual halacha is, again, that at the side of the mavoi you can have up until 10 amos. So we have here a machlokas amoraim at the side of the mavoi. How large is the breach allowed to be? Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak says, Kivase de Rav Huna mistabra. It's logical to say like Rav Huna that we should be strict. To Itmar, because it was learned the following, Machlokas Amoraim. Mavoi akum. Let's say you have a mavoi which is bent. We'll see it in Rashi. Rav Amar Toraso Kemefulash. Rav says it's considered like an open mavoi. Ushmuel Amar Toraso Kesasum. And Shmuel says it's considered like a closed mavoi. Rashi here explains, Mavoi akum ushnei pischav l'rishus harabim. You have a bent mavoi and both openings go into rishus harabim. This is the case right here. It's a bent mavoi. You have an entrance over here into rishus from rishus harabim into the mavoi. You have an entrance over here from rishus harabim into the mavoi. So in such a case, Toraso Kemefulash. According to Rav's opinion, it's considered open, meaning Umavoi hamefulash l'rishus harabim. The halacha is that if you have a mavoi that opens into rishus harabim, tzarech tzuras pesach mikan, you need to construct a frame of a doorway on one side, a tzuras pesach on one side, the lechi okor mikan, and then the other side, the halacha is it needs to have either a lechi, a pole at the side of the entrance of the mavoi, or it needs to have a korah, beam that runs along the top at the entrance of the mavoi. Kidel kaman, as we're going to say later. Avzed tzarech l'shnei psachav l'tzad rishus harabim lechi l'chol ruach. He says over here also, this is what Rav's going to require. At the 2 sides, you're going to need a lechi, meaning you'll need a lechi here, you'll need a lechi over here. Uvak mumiso, and then at the area where it bends, which is right over here in the middle, tzarech tzuras hapesach, you're going to need to create a tzuras hapesach, you'll need to do a frame of a doorway, which is basically 2 lechis and a korah on top, to pilosh shehu mefulish l'chaveiro, havik mefulish l'rishus harabim. Because if the mavoi is open to another mavoi, that's the same as being mefulish l'rishus harabim. In other words, it's as if this mavoi here opens up into this mavoi, and both mavois are open into Rishus Harabim, so you have to create a Tzuras HaPesach here, and you'll put a Lechi over here, and a Lechi over here. You treat it as a Mefulash. Now that is the opinion of Rav. Rav again is strict that Toraso kamafulish. Shmuel says Toraso kesasim. What does that mean? That's closed. Ve'ein sarach bak mumiso klum. You don't need anything over here at the area where it bends. Ela elu osin lechi lepischon ve'elu osi lechi lepischon. These people can treat it like a closed mavoi. They put a lechi over here. These people can treat it like a closed mavoi. They put a lechi over here, and that is sufficient. Lo matzrechinon tzuras hapesach el psachim hamefuloshin zeh keneged zeh l'rishas harabim. You only need tzuras hapesach when you have a straight mavoi that opens into rishas harabim. Lishna acharina, there's another understanding of what this means, that it's sasum, toraso kesasum, toras mavoi sasum. It's considered like a closed mavoi. V'tzarech lasos lechi lak mumiso. According to this second position, you do need to at least put a lechi over here at the area where it's bent. V'hainu lechi she'osim b'mavoi sasum, meaning the lechi that you would normally put at a mavoi sasum. V'zek kibalti mimori hazakin. This opinion I got from my elder teacher. So now the Gemara says, "B'mayaskinan." What is the case over here? What is the case in terms of how large of a gap there is at the area where it bends? If we're talking about a situation where it is wider than 10, Rashi over here says, the width of the entry at the area it bends is more than 10 amos. That means right over here. If this area, in this particular case, is more than 10 amos right over here, would Shmuel really say in such a case that it's considered closed? We'll see Rashi on that in a moment. But the Gemara says, it must be that it's 10 amos. And Rav still says that it's considered open. So you see that 10 amos is considered an open area, and that means that, like Rav Huna is correct, that 4 tfachim or more is considered a breach. It's considered a mefulish. Alma pirtzas mavoi mitzido bedalit. You see that the pirtz of a mavoi at the side is 4 tfachim, and it's not 10 amos, because again, this is talking about this area here is 10 amos, and that is considered a breach according to Rav. So that seems to be a proof again that 4 tfachim is already considered a breach. Rashi here says, "B'hol leima shmuel kesasim." If we're talking about a situation where it's more than 10 amos at the area where it curves, that's going to be considered closed. Viniski belechi, that's going to be good enough just to have a lechi. Atu lechi biyoser me'eser b'mavoi sasa mimahani. Do you think a lechi works if you have even if you had a closed mavoi, but it's more than 10 amos at the entrance of the mavoi, can't be more than 10 amos. We've said that already from the Mishnah. This is the second time we're mentioning that in this Amud. Ulalishna kamen, according to the first lashon Rashi brought, where you're putting nothing at the area where it bends. Kaven de yoser me eser have, since it is more than 10, have kechad mavui. So since it's more than 10, it's going to be like one mavui. V'chihai gavna lo leima Shmuel de lav mefulishu. Shmuel in such a situation is going to say it's not mefulish. That should be basically like one unified, straight, open mavui on both sides. So he shouldn't be giving it this leniency that you don't need anything at the area where it curves. So the Gemara therefore says Shmuel would never be so lenient if the area where it curves was more than 10 amos wide. Elalav be'eser alma pirtzas stadin l'rav barba. It must be that it's 10 amos wide or less. And you see that the opening, according to Rav, at the side of a mavoi is open already by 4 tfachim. So therefore, the Gemara thinks again that is a proof that to Rav Huna that Rav is strict at 4 tfachim. And so the Gemara says, Rav Chanan bar Rava. What does Rav Chanan bar Rava respond to this? Again, Rav Chanan bar Rava is the one who argues with Rav Huna, says that we aren't so strict. He says, Shani hasam de kabaki bar Ravim. It's much different in this particular case, because in this case, this breach, this is where the Ravim walk, the masses walk through here. That's a lot different than if you just had a breach along the side of a wall over here. That's a lot different. Here you've got a breach right here. So here, 4 tfachim or more, Taka Rav would be strict in such a case. But that doesn't prove anything for our original case in the beginning of the Amud. We were just talking about a breach on the side of a regular mavoi, on the side wall. That maybe we would say that it would be up to 10 amos. So the Gemara says, Mechlal de Rav Huna savar afagav de lo baki bar Ravim. Well, one second. That means that Rav Huna is strict even in a situation where the Ravim do not go through there. Ma'ishnami Rav Ami v'Rav Asi. What's the difference between this case and the case of Rav Ami and Rav Asi? We'll see in Rashi as well. But the Gemara answers it's different. Hasam de'ika gidude, hacha deleka gidude. In the case of Rav Ami and Rav Asi, there was wall that was preventing people from walking through, and here you do not have that, so that is a little bit different. Rashi here says, Mechlal de Rav Huna afilo b'pirtza de lo baki Ravim. The implication would be that according to Rav Huna, we're strict even in a situation where you have an area where the Ravim are not walking through. Kagon sheprutza l'makam matunif. He gives an example. Let's say you had a breach in the wall, but it goes into an area that's dirty. No one's going to go through that way. O l'makam makulkol b'pechasim, or it's an area that's ruined with all kinds of holes in the ground. V'tit or mud. V'ein derech Ravim mitzuyim lavor ba'osa pirtza. Nobody would go through that pirtza. Aser nami barba. Presumably, Rav Huna would say it's a problem even if it's more than 4 tefachim. You don't need up to 10 out. You don't need more than 10 amos. So the Gemara says, if that's the case, what's the difference between that case and Rav Ami and Rav Asi? Damrina La'el, Rav Ami and Rav Asi say earlier, Em Yesham Pas Arba Matir Pirza Ad Eser. They say that if you have over there a board of wood that's 4 tvachim, you can have a breach in the wall up till 10. Alma Pirtzas Mavi Mitzido Be'eser. That was a case where they said clearly the Pirtzan Mavoi was 10 amos. So the Gemara answers, Hasam Diika Gidude Shenashtayr Min HaKosel B'Yasod Gimel Odalet Tvachim. The case earlier with Rav Ami and Rav Asi is when the wall was not completely breached. There was in the foundation, in the bottom of the wall, 3 or 4 tvachim goval pnei kol hapirza of height along the whole opening. It wasn't like there was a full breach. The wall was knocked down, but you had 3 or 4 tvachim of wall remaining from the ground up. She'ina nocha lavor ba. So in that case, it's not easy to go through it. That in that particular case, Rav Ami and Rav Asi said, okay, over there you can have a breach up until 10 amos. But if you would have a full breach in the wall, you wouldn't have no giduda. You'd have no wall remaining, nothing preventing people from easily walking through. So in such a situation, again, even 4 tvachim, according to Rav Huna, we would be strict. Gemara now continues at the 2 dots. Tanur Rabbanan, we learned in the Brisa. Keitzad ma'arvin derech Rishus Harabim. How do we make an eruv by way of Rishus Harabim? Osa tzuras hapesach mikan, you make a tzuras hapesach on one side, v'lechi v'kora mikan, and you make a lechi and a kora on the other side. This is a very lenient opinion. It's saying that when it comes to a Rishus Harabim, all you need is a tzuras hapesach on one side and a lechi and a kora on the other side, and that is good enough. Rashi here says, Rishus Harabim, mashma rochav sheishes reyama. What we're talking about here is you have it's 16 amos wide, or Rishus Harabim. V'ir shemitzuyin ba shishim ribo, and it's a city that has 600,000 people. V'ein ba choma, and there's no wall. Shahaya Rishus Harabim shalah mechuvan mishar l'shar sheim afulish. Domel adigle midbar. There was a Rishus Harabim that went through from one end to the other. It was totally open. So, according to the first position, Suras HaPesach, Mikan, you put a frame of a doorway, Barosho Echad, on one entrance of this street that runs through the city. V'lechi v'kora b'sofa ir, you put a lechi and a kora on the other side, and that is going to be good enough. Again, a very lenient opinion on how you can create an eruv and a derech Rishus Harabim. Chananya says that it's a machlokus between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. Beis Shammai omrim osa delos mikan v'delos mikan. According to Beis Shammai, you have to actually make a real door on each side. And when he exits and leaves the city, he needs to close, or when he enters the city, he needs to close that door. Beis Hillel omrim, and according to Chananya, Beis Hillel say, Osa delos mikan, you make a door on one side, v'lechi v'kor mikan. The other side doesn't need a door also. You can use a lechi and a kor on the other side. And so, in short though, according to Chananya, both positions, whether you're in Beis Shammai, whether in Beis Hillel, you need a door. Beis Shammai says on both sides a door, Beis Hillel says on one side a door, but everybody agrees you need a door. So there seems to be here a machlokas, Tanoim, in terms of how you make an eruv in Rishus Harabim. So the Gemara asks, so the whole thing doesn't make sense. Rishus Harabim mima arva, can you really make an eruv for a Rishus Harabim? But Tanya, we learned in a brayso, yes, or alkein amar Rabbi Yehuda. Beyond this, Rabbi Yehuda says as follows. We'll take a look at Rashi. This Rashi will go on to the next page. We'll continue it in the next video. But Rashi says, yes, or alkein le'el minei ayri bebona aliyah. The case that was talking about before, he's saying yes or alkain beyond this case. Furthermore, he's saying. So what was the case that we were just discussing? The case we're just discussing is you build an upper level that attaches from one house to the other house across Rishus Harabim. You build basically almost like a porch that connects from one house to the other. Or you have like bridges again that go over Rishus Harabim. To Shari Rabbi Yehuda until too late to say. Rabbi Yehuda said that you can carry underneath this roof that's been constructed. Misham pi tikra yored v'sosim. It's a halachic principle that the edges of the roof, the edges of this bridge that you're under, they're as if they come down. It's as if you're surrounded by walls. So you have two walls. The walls of the houses are walls, and then you have halachic walls, imaginary walls that come down from the top of the bridge or whatever roof is above you. But parakol gagos here. This is in parakol gagos here. The ka'amar v'braisa. So then the Braisa says, yes or alkein. Rabbi Yehuda goes even further than this. Afilu heichadeleka pitikra. Even when you don't have these imaginary walls coming down from a roof. And we'll continue this discussion in the next video on Daf Vav Amud Beis.